And right now, we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick alongside Katie Greifeld, taking you through to that closing bell with a global simulcast. There it is behind me. Massar and Tim Stenovec in the radio room. Welcome to our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms, including our partnership with YouTube. A day, Massar, that of course has been consumed by the attention on Kevin Warsh, the nominee to succeed Jay Powell, but it kind of obscures some real volatility going on in equity and financial markets here on this Friday afternoon.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. One of my gainers, man, was up about 20%. I think.
Oh, I know which one it was.
I know, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but it might.
I don't want to spoil it, but when I saw it reverse, I thought of you. I said, it's going to get Carol, isn't it?
But it's like when we talk about the spread in terms of high to low, it's remarkable. Having said that, Romaine, I am thinking about the S&P 500 for the month overall, 1.3% higher in these last final minutes or seconds of trading. And we haven't seen, I don't know, you have to go back, I think it's the best month since, is it October?
Oh, that far?
Well, not that far, but still.
Yeah.
Come on, think about everything that's happened in this first month.
No, you're right, Carol. And we should point out all of the major indices for the month are in the green.
I just want to bring some news. You guys are talking about the trade. You're talking about the macro. On the micro, this redhead just crossed in the Bloomberg terminal in the time it took us to go to the simulcast. Peloton is cutting 11% of staff, including from the engineering teams. Shares down about 2.5%. It's a setback that's aimed at slashing costs. This is according to a person with knowledge of the matter. This coming from Mark Gurman and team.
Peloton. Yeah, Peloton. I mean, it's so ubiquitous. I Pelotoned this morning, but this turnaround, it seems like they can't exactly pivot.
Through the snow?
No, but I was looking at
I don't know if you know how they work, Romaine.
I don't, actually. Let's walk you through the markets here.
You don't go anywhere. That's what's great about it.
All right, let's walk you through the markets here, because it was a very busy day. And we should point out this is the final trading day of the month. All of the major indices on the day are going to finish in the red. That includes the Dow Jones Industrial Average, down about 0.4%. The S&P down 0.4%. The Nasdaq down 0.9%, and the Russell 2000 down roughly about 1.5%. With the exception of the S&P, they're all also down on a weekly basis. But for the month, and this is to Carol's point, for all of the volatility that we saw, all of the major indices are going to close out the month of January with the gain, and the biggest gainer amongst the biggest indices is the Russell 2000, up 5%.
Wait, you actually think I made a point?
You make a lot of points. I just hate acknowledging them.
I know. You're feeling good. You've had a pretty bad day.
You're actually pretty smart, Carol.
I have my moments, lapses. Hey, S&P 500, 246 names to the upside, 256 to the downside. And Katie, right now we've got, looks like one unchanged.
Yeah, there you go. Well, let's talk about what we're seeing at the sector level as measured by our friend the Circle. It doesn't look that great, honestly. You can see that tech really took a hit today, down by about 1.3% as a sector. Materials slightly worse, down about 1.9%. In terms of what did perform on this up and down Friday, consumer staples was your best bet, higher by about 1.4%. Energy, too, having a good day, higher by about 1% on this Friday.
All right, guys, let's go to some of the individual gainers, and I'm feeling kind of smart right now.
She's feeling good.
All right, let's start with Deckers. Definitely an outperformer in today's session. In fact, it's the #1 gainer in the S&P 500. Isn't that wild? Considering we had like all these big, I don't know. It's just been a funny week, and I just find it interesting that Deckers is there. 19% to the upside. Owner of UGG and Hoka footwear brands, you guys know that, raised its annual earnings and sales forecast, beating the average analyst estimate. Analysts out talking about the name noted strength in the retailer's direct-to-consumer channels across the United States. Goldman Sachs raising its price target to 92 from 81, maintaining, though, its sell rating, which is kind of interesting. But this was definitely an outperformer. And this is the one I was nervous about. SanDisk, check this out, guys, up 25% at its intraday high, at one point down 1.2%, so quite a swing. And at the close here, we're just up shy of 7%. What a move, kind of dramatic.
We were talking about this on the close because we saw it kind of, it was up 25%, and while we were on the close, it's, dipped into the red, and we were just, there was no news. It was just seems like maybe it was just, I don't know, maybe some profit taking, who knows?
I don't know. We broke down the results, right? After the close, second quarter revenue beat expectations. Raymond James upgrading the stock to outperform from market perform. I love all the analyst community, though, running to change their price targets. Susquehanna raising it to 1,000 from 300. Bernstein to 1,000 from 580. Cantor Fitzgerald to 800 from 550.
Yeah.
What's the stock doing year to date, Romaine?
It's up. And I should just also point out, too, I was just taking a quick look here. I mean, this is not surprisingly the biggest, most volatile swing for that stock in its history, the biggest one-day point swing from peak to trough.
How could it not be? I think it's up something like 1,600% or something from its IPO back in February of 2025. So anyway, definitely caught our attention.
That was a secondary offering, but thank you.
All right, secondary offering.
There he is. There's the Romaine we know and love.
We were so missing you.
I was getting worried.
Verizon, your number 2 gainer in the S&P 500, folks. Let's go there. Finishing up almost a 12% gain here, so near its best levels of the session, holding on to those gains. Company reported its biggest gain in mobile phone subscribers since 2019, plans to buy back as much as $25 billion in shares. Those buybacks planned over the next 3 years and include at least $3 billion in 2026. They've been working on a turnaround, and kind of the read off of all of this quarter is that the company's CEO, that turnaround efforts are starting to bear fruit. So definitely an outperformer. All right, Tim, all yours.
Okay, I actually was going to do Apple today. It was down as much as 2.4% post earnings, and then up as much as 1.4%, but it finished in the green. So honorable mention as a gainer for Apple. Yeah, that was for you, Carol. That's okay.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Rocket companies down 13.7% today. Mortgage company stocks tumbled today. This after PennyMac Financial Services reported profits were significantly below Wall Street expectations. We saw other mortgage lenders, including rocket companies, fall. UWM Holdings Corporation also fell. The company's shares declined. This is, I should say, PennyMac Financial Services, as much as 38% earlier in the session. Finally, let's look at a couple software and video game companies together. Unity Software, Take-Two Interactive.
Yeah, this is crazy.
This is really crazy.
Yeah.
Gaming stocks just took a hit today. This after Google said it began rolling out Project Genie to Google AI Ultra subscribers. The prototype web app allows users to create and interact with a navigable world. Yeah. Look at this. Unity losing almost a quarter of its market cap in a single day as a result of this product announcement from Google. Take-Two Interactive down 8%. I guess this is this like AI hitting this industry? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought the reaction was, I mean, Unity has some other issues too.
Yeah, they've had issues for years.
But I agree with you. This seemed like a bit of an overreaction, particularly given that, we don't actually know exactly how much engagement Google's going to drive with this.
Yeah, and these companies have tried to come out with video games in the past, and it hasn't totally worked, like Apple Arcade, for example. And finally, shares of Bombardier. These ADRs took a hit today, down 6.6%. This after President Trump threatened to slap a 50% tariff on aircraft from Canada and decertify all new planes that are made there. Bombardier is the Canadian aerospace company. In 2024, it got 64% of its revenue from the U.S. Analysts, though, say that the threat could be noise. They doubt the tariffs and decertification threats will be enforced, but the worrying headline could make investors wary. ADRs fell 6.6%.
And just a quick check on yields. Modest moves across the curve, down on the lower end of the curve on your 2-year and 5-year. Your 10-year yield up about 2 basis points, about 3 basis points on your 30-year yield. A bit of a steepening in the curve as a lot of people now trying to speculate as to what a potential new Fed chair in Kevin Warsh might actually mean for the trajectory of interest rates.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting stuff, right? Like, obviously nominated, we've been waiting for it. We've been spending, I know you guys have too, about what he means. I think it ultimately comes down to, certainly for financial markets, right? Is it an independent Fed when all is said and done? We can look at his past history and so on and so forth, but I think that's going to certainly be key. And we'll see whether or not the nomination goes through.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you said that, because I think there's still now a lot more questions than answers at this point. Does the nomination go through is a big one. We heard Senator Tom Tillis earlier on Bloomberg Surveillance say he's a no vote until that probe is dropped into Fed Chair Jay Powell and the Supreme Court case for Lisa Cook is resolved. Does that happen before May to allow a path to actually win the
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess a lot of questions we have to answer, Tim, but I think we got to go. My Peloton's waiting outside.
Really? Oh, you mean it's over?
Yes, you don't hear the producer screaming in your ear to rap?
Actually, I don't. No, I'm not hearing anything today.
You guys took the mic, you ran with it. I love it. Good for you.
That's okay.
Have a good weekend. Stay warm.
You too.